8 hours of work, 8 hours of time pass, and 8 hours of sleep. Because science has told them that's really good. But at the same time, science also has told them a lot of other things which they don't want to follow. Science told not to eat junk food, but they will eat that. What is good for us, we will only take that one. So that's a main difference, I would say. So if you want to be an employee and you don't have the vision in life, you can never be a leader.
Hello everyone, I'm your host Shanu and you are listening to my podcast. We explore knowledge, stories and the journey that can transform the way we live, learn and grow. Our guest today, Dr. Rashmi believes education is not just about the classrooms but about creating a lifelong learners and we are excited to dive into that vision. So let's welcome Dr. Rashmi.
Hi, hello. Thanks for having me here for the day. So yeah, it is a really nice way of introducing me, and I truly believe that learning doesn't happen only in the classrooms.
Yes, absolutely. So, how did you, the history of education? How do you describe this?
Okay, so history of education. See, first thing, most importantly, from the day of the birth, a child is learning something, right?
Absolutely.
And when we go back to the olden days, let's say caveman period, forget about caveman period, even if we are talking about a monkey. So the moment it is born, it is getting educated, it is learning things. And the moment the elephant calf is born, so it is getting educated. Mother starts teaching right immediately after the birth,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So this is there as a part of our journey, right? From the birth till the death, we are learning something. Okay, so this is the way how the nature has gifted us. So sometimes it happens voluntarily. That is where how we go to school, learn from the teachers, educators, and mentors. And most of the times it happens involuntarily.
Nice. So, how did education begin in ancient human societies?
Okay, so again, coming back to the same thing. So the caveman period, when we see, they were educating their children how to hold the chisel, how to craft the tools, how to cook, how, and the most important thing was they didn't have anything called as textbooks.
Okay.
Mother and father had to educate the child because they lived in a place where it is all forest and they had to protect themselves from the wildlife, not always by killing them. So they also read and understood about the nature. Most importantly, they had to grab the food, go gather them, and which is not poisonous, which is poisonous. They had to see and learn. So this was always there. But coming to the Rigvedic system, they made it more structured, more aligned to us. And along with the learning, memorizing, they added one value. They did not tell you how to study. They told us and taught us why to study or why to
study?
education.
Okay.
Yes. So they wanted to know the purpose of a particular person, a human being. We are all living our life like robots, to be honest. So I do my daily chores, I go to job, I come back, and what's next? What am I? Who am I? I know I am Dr. Rashmi, but what is my purpose? That question was arise during the Rigvedic times.
Rigvedic times.
Yes.
Like how many years before it is?
So when we have to actually give you the specific years, nobody has got the courage to trace it back because what we learn in the textbook is not actually giving us the Rigvedic periods. So this was the first era, I could say. So the first Veda, that is the Rigvedic period, where the human values were very scientifically analyzed and approached. So whatever we are trying to achieve now was already there in that time.
Nice. So, what are the purpose of how did early civilizations like India, Greece, or Egypt shape their education systems?
Okay, so when we talk about Egyptian culture, they gave us a lot of exposure towards, like, a new mode of education. And if you notice, even the civilization, Pyramid of Giza, we still don't know so many things. What was the main purpose of pyramid? We still don't know. Some people, they say it was to, like, bring the water. They are in the desert, so it was used as aquifers, they say. and some of them are like, even now mysterious. We do find the crystal pyramid in the ocean now. So many of the education system back in days like Greece or Egyptian or even India also, the same concept applied. They added wisdom to their education. They added what is so called as truthfulness, being lively, not just being like, a monotonous kind of life. So they added a lot of values, ethics, and wisdom to their studies.
Can you explain how the Gurukul system worked and what values it emphasizes?
Okay, so most of us have seen this in the movies. So whenever we go back to the Ramayana, Mahabharat, first and foremost thing, everybody picturizes Gurukula means something. We see the huts and the clay walls and nice forest atmosphere where the teacher is sitting on the like, under a banyan tree on a platform,
Yeah,
and the kids are sitting and learning.
learning.
So that is the mindset ideally everybody gets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but when you look at the terminology of Gurukula itself, Guru means teacher.
Teacher.
Kula is like, we say Kula Deva.
Kuladev,
So means my family god. So Kula is basically called as family. So
Okay.
you become a part of the Guru family. Okay. So we didn't have what is called as a classroom system back then. So even if we again go back to the scriptures like Ramayana, Mahabharata, so everybody, the king's kids or anyone for that matter, they had to go to the Gurukula. They left every single palace, whatever pleasures they had got, the conveniences they had as prince, princess, everything was taken away from them. So the munis had to go collect them from their teen times. So they had to go to this particular place. Generally, the Gurukula is like a ashram, so where there was no bias. Even the commoner's son was there, even the king's son was also there in the same place. So the system was very simple. It taught us discipline. So when we say discipline, it is something like getting up in the morning, go fetch the water and come, clean your environment, surroundings, and at the same time, Smriti and Shruti something. So they had to chant the verses. So the Sanskrit verses. They were taught also simultaneously. And how they applied these entire concept and how they improvised. So one beautiful thing which comes to my mind is we all have seen that scene in Mahabharata, right? When the Guru asked Arjuna, "What do you see on the tree?"
Tree.
He
Yeah.
just says, "I see only the bird eye."
Bird eye.
Right?
Focus.
Correct. At that time, many places, I have seen many directors directing this particular scene. Have you seen Arjuna being taught how to do the archery?
Arjuna.
Mm, No, never.
Never.
Right? He was never taught how to do the archery. But the Guru praised him a lot. He didn't praise others. Why? See, basically, what happens is the commitment and how focused you are in life. And even when we talk about Yudhishthira, we praise him like, a lot because he ruled the entire kingdom with only righteousness. So, but where did he learn these values? Back in Gurukula only.
Gurukula.
He was never a king when he learned all these things. And when we talk about another person, Chanakya Niti, Arthashastra, we say, even till date in administrative society, when you go to all the IIM colleges or schools, what we say, right? So people are following Chanakya Niti as the guide to teach how to do the administration. So when was this written? Back in 300 BC. Even now they are following. That means to say the concepts or else the clarity, the principles, the values, what they had laid, it was not only for that particular generation. The principles are for the life. So
For the
it's for
entire
the
life.
it's for humans. If we follow that Chanakya Niti, if you understand well, I can say you can rule a country.
Great.
Yes. That is what Chandragupta Maurya did. He was just a tribal guy. He was the tribal guy of the Moya. So he was administered and he was actually prepared by Chandragupta Maurya's minister, that is Kautilya.
Kautilya.
Yeah. So that is what we call it as Kautilya Arthashastra also.
Okay.
So that way, when we are following, when we are learning, all the learnings happen in the Gurukula. The values and principles are very, 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 very rigid there. So when I say rigid, it just becomes a part of your life. Even if you want to take it away later, so during the Mahabharata Yuddha, so it could have been easily told, like, both of them are my brothers, I don't want this to happen. But they did not choose to do that because the values were very much engraved into their heart. So that is what the Gurukula system is
Gurukula.
about. So again, coming back to when we talk about Gurukula system, Vedas, Vedangas, Upanishads, these are all nothing but what we are studying as different subjects now. So I can say Sanskrit was a language back then where people studied Sanskrit and all the concepts of sciences, or else let it be even grammar, and they also understood what is a phonetic. So phonetic is the sound. So how to put all
Phonetic.
the, yes, phonetics. Phonetics are basically like, we also call it as phonics. Now how we learn alphabets, b, k, d, like that. So that way they understood the law, the nature, how the sounds were formed, and they put the sounds together, and they started making sentences. So that is when the rhythm and the rhyming started coming in. And these rhymings and rhythms put together, they made it in the form of a shloka. And not only they concentrated on the literature part of it, even they adapted the same method for the mathematics as well. That's where the entire maths concepts, physics concepts came in. So these are all the Vedangas, what I just told you right now. But we do have Upavedas. Upavedas are something like architecture, medicine. These are all how we call master degrees. Until undergrads, we also do the same thing. So for us, when we are looking at the ancient texts and scriptures, we are only considering that as something like a shloka, but not true. They are also nothing but the sciences, the social art, humanities, whatever we are studying. They have put it in a beautiful mnemonic ways. So what are mnemonics basically? If I want to compliment you, you are good. That is a different way,
Different. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If I just say you are Einstein,
Oh my
I'm
God.
exaggerating it. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful way of telling it. So the same way we praise a lot of poems written by Wordsworth. Okay, if I give you two literature textbooks, one is written by some normal, maybe I have only written it, and I have given you a Shakespeare's language. You feel Shakespeare's is doing a great job. That is his area, right? The same way, instead of learning, let me say, around like 10 huge volume of books, I just tell you two lines each. I give you around 1,000 lines, which is easier for you. 1,000
Thousand
lines,
lines.
right?
Yeah.
That is how we started teaching our students back then. So they used to memorize concepts, memorize in Smriti and Shruti, listen and then speak.
Speak.
So that is how they started reciprocating, listening to their guru, and applying that comes at the later stages. So once they are thorough with the Shruti and Smriti, that's when the practical application comes because they are completely into the nature based education. So if you notice, nowhere they have shown they are killing animals. They are staying in a forest, but they are not killing the animals. They are not killing any kind of like birds for entertainment because they know how to communicate with them. So until unless animal is threatened, they will not harm us. So that was a beauty of Gurukula system. So when you come to the subjects, it was all part of it. But we have given the titles as Vedas and all. Those are nothing but mantras and hymns we are supposed to use only during the yagna, puja and all. But these are all proper subjects what we studied back then.
Okay. So, what lessons from ancient Indian educations are still relevant today?
In fact, everything I would say,
Everything.
obviously. See, it is a survival mode.
Okay.
Education, what we are doing today is survival.
Survival.
100%. I complete my studies till 12th, not even till 12th. Nowadays, at 8th grade, the child has to make a decision whether
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has to
Completely
become
agree. Yeah,
a
Doctor.
science student or else commerce student.
Yeah, they'll.
They are becoming very specific before they even think maturely. See, till 16 years, there is no logical reasoning in the kids, to be honest. Okay, that's the reason we say till 16 years you are supposed to be. That beautiful our Indian education system was. They never gave them the authority or opportunity to choose the platform till 16. Back then, for me, till 10th, I had to study all subjects. I had no options.
Options.
And if you go to my great grandfather and all, he studied everything till 12th, all the subjects mandatory. Now, at grade 8 itself, we are bifurcating them, making it like more tailor made. Okay, I have taken commerce, the next step is I'll become a BCom student, after that MBA student,
MBA.
I am equipped for the job. So we are running in the job perspective. Fine, I have become an MBA student, now what's next? I have got a job. After that, what am I doing? Get married, have kids,
It's
and I'm done.
retire.
Yeah, that's it. So but what was I throughout the journey? Where am I?
Okay. So according to you, what is the right way, right path?
That's what I told you. So instead of asking, what you want to do, how you want to do, just say why you want to do. That is the main purpose of
When you say why, this like in any field, it could be a education, it could be a
anything,
doctor, any
anything.
field.
See,
So you get hundreds of answers. So
100%.
yeah,
And what is right for you, you get to know.
you get
Right.
absolutely, absolutely.
And we are only, I feel personally, we are only taking things from the society. See, society has made us what we are today. So it depends upon whether you take it in a positive way or a negative
Negative.
way. Okay, so if you're constructive enough, you grow a lot.
Yeah.
So that way, how many of us have really given back to the society? How many of our earnings are going to good causes?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a concept of Gurukula system. So they wanted humans to be more human.
So Gurukula is still going on, like educations
Gurukula system was replaced long back.
long back, but still some of the institutes they do still
They
teaching.
cannot adopt complete Gurukula system, as I told.
Let us take an example of if any parents want their children should take in admissions in Gurukul.
Mhm.
So do they get chance that way?
100%, it's a very bold move, I would say. Because see, knowledge wise, Gurukula kids, they are ahead of anybody else,
Okay.
because they learn the concepts and they apply the concepts at a very young age. So in fact, they know beyond what is required. But at the same time, the world is very competitive at present. So if I say I'm from a Gurukula system, how many of them really employ them? Ultimately,
Yeah.
we come
And
back
number
to
of
the
members.
survival
Yeah.
mode. So I need to survive in the world. So what happens there? So majority, I do not blame anybody. The system has become like that. So that way, very less, even if we are saying we are following a Gurukula system, it might be the basic principles of Gurukula, I would say. So not everything is Gurukula system, basic principles we are following, and post that what is required for the survival, we are doing it.
Great. How did the industrial revolution shape the modern schooling?
Okay, so that's an interesting question basically.
Yeah.
So during this industrialization itself, we started getting the classroom atmosphere. So yeah, the reason why they did was industrialization gave a lot of employment to the colonies. Okay, so they wanted people who could read, write their language, because most of the setups were in English, like done by Englishmen.
Mhm.
So they wanted the classroom setup. The reason is period to period. So a worker is doing a particular job in this particular A sector, and after that 1 hour there will be a bell which rings, and he goes to another sector. He should be ready to read whatever they have written. So the bell mechanism was never there in our Gurukula. We never had periods and all, classes and all.
Classes.
Yes. Why did that come into existence? So I am a employee in a particular industry
Mhm.
where I only look after the packaging, let's say. So one classroom was made only to train that kind of people.
Mhm.
The other person had to go through a lot of details with respect to documentation. Reading was important. So they started doing those things. And a lunch break to give them, they are into a monotonous job. They don't have clocks anywhere during industrialization time, because the workers, if they see the clock, they want to go home. That kind of attitude even exists even now for our kids also for studies. So then the bell system came in. So the moment the bell rings, they know it's a lunch break. The
Yeah.
second bell rings, they had to go back to the classroom.
Classrooms.
After that, the last bell, they had to go home. So that is how, for their purpose, they started the classroom education. And yes, it brought a lot of discipline during that time to our society. And most importantly, they gave education which was for everybody. Anybody, no age groups were mentioned at that point of time. But much later, the education from the grade 1, it started later. But earlier, during the industrialization, anybody and everybody were ready for this one because they had the employment opportunities which were given.
Okay. So in schools, like we have a different periods. Okay.
Hmm.
And as you said, bell rings.
Hmm.
So same way in Gurukula, there will be no rings, no bells,
No.
no different
No.
subjects. There is only one subject, which means
There is nothing called a subject system, as I told
Okay.
you. They had a routine what they follow.
it's a routine.
Yes. So, what is required for life? First thing is cleanliness around their place. They keep their ecosystem clean, first thing. Second thing, go prepare what is required for the day. Right from gathering the food, vegetables, supporting each one for cooking. And once they are done with all these work, then they come to the Guru. The morning prayers, everything is done, they come to the Guru. The Guru is the one who will lead the students there. Because when we see the Gurukula system, that's a beautiful thing and it always touches my heart here. Simple thing. See, now I want to teach you something. You are not interested in a particular concept. You don't like to learn about, let's say, plants. Fine, that's good. It's okay. I respect you.
Mhm.
What is interesting you more? So I will teach you that thing. So there was
Great.
a lot of individual attention. It was more of a student centric
Okay.
approach.
So basically, a Gurukul teacher would love to know like what students wanted to learn. What is the
100%. And when we look at the Gurukula also, the teacher knows their students very much because they are interacting one to one. There is no something called a subject matter expert. The Guru had to know everything. So he knows archery, he knows Gadha Yuddha, he knows what is botany, zoology, physics, chemistry, everything he
Everything.
had to know. And only when the students want to master, they go to the universities. That is when Nalanda, Takshila, all these universities come to picture.
Yes. So what were the biggest reforms in education during the 20th century?
Um, we had a lot actually.
Mhm.
So after industrial revolution, so we got a concept from many educationists because they felt education was not only for the employment because industrial revolution that made it very clear. So if you're studying, it is because you need to get a job. But that beyond that, what is the reasoning power of a child? That was completely gone. And do you think critically to analyze a situation? No. You have given a particular job, you read and study only for the job. You get the job, you're done. Then we got lot of educationists who propose a lot of theory like behaviorist theory, social learning, and a lot more cognitivism. So these are the theories which told as a student we can employ all these theories. So that is when there was a change. I can say there was a shift in the education system. And again, where are we heading now? And after that came Maria Montessori method.
Moria.
Maria Montessori, Montessori school. So for the early years, that is after 2 years till 6 year to 7 years, Maria Montessori method is very famous. So she mentioned that everything has to be experiential. So touch, feel, smell, all these things have to be employed in the system so that the kids learn faster. Even when you notice as kids, if you have any kids in the house,
Mhm.
the moment you give them a toy, let's say you give them a card or else
Yeah.
any kind of thing, what do they do initially?
They'll become happy first.
Correct. Because
First-
they are seeing something
Yeah,
new. Then
and then they start playing.
correct, they touch it.
They touch it and then
And most of the times you might have noticed they also put things in the mouth.
yeah they do.
Right? That's basically all the five senses they try to make use of. So even you tell them 100 times, until they taste it, they feel it, they smell it, they will not leave the object. But once they understand everything, they don't want to touch the same toy again. They will move on to the new one. They want a new one. So that same method was there in our system, and Maria Montessori method employs the same thing. But now, after that, now new education policy has come, where they are bringing in a lot of changes in the way how we are taking the education now. They want to integrate art into studies, AI into studies.
Yeah, yeah.
And in fact, they have made a real good move about bringing our ancient traditional history, that is about the Vedas and everything, into our system. So that way, there is a lot of changes happening. But wherever we are heading, again, we are coming back to the same square. So what we had lost, we are coming back to the same way.
Same. How is the purpose of education shifted from survival jobs and personal growth innovations?
So this was answered as well. So now when we look at it, now we have become come literally to the survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us, we are going through a pattern of education, and some of us, especially in India, I can only hear two sectors running really fast. After 10th, either an engineer or a doctor. So it's everywhere.
Yeah,
What you
everywhere.
want to do? I want to go for NEET or a JEE coaching.
coaching.
That's it. So we find very limited students for other sectors. Why? These are professionally like qualified students who get the job immediately. So if you're going for a particular coaching center, it's booked. Before you start your 11th standard, 10th standard only, they start booking the classes.
Yeah,
So
true.
that way, we are all streamlined, we are monotony, we are become like robots. Study, study, study. Just go there, write it, done. After that, complete your masters or undergrads, done. After that, get into the job. So that way, we have become completely like robots. We do not have something called kids. They feel social life is more of going out, enjoying. They are doing everything outside. Let me ask a teenager now,
Mm.
what is your day to day life? They say, morning I get up, ma'am, I go to college, ma'am, then I go to tuitions, ma'am. Then what else? Weekends I go out with friends or
Friends.
family, ma'am. Okay, fine. All of them are good. Where are you? What are you? Have they ever questioned themselves about it? You're doing everything to please the outside, like, you're getting dressed really well, really amazing. But as it is, as a human, what are you doing? Question yourself. That is completely gone in this generation, kids. So it's more of goal oriented purpose, I say. So once they have got a job, they are happy. That's it. So they
Nice.
need to come out of that entire rat race, I would suggest. They have
Okay.
to understand what do they really love. See,
Okay.
in fact, this profession for me was never a what you say, choice.
Okay.
I have not come into the education sector by choice. It was by chance.
By chance.
By chance. So after my masters, my father-in-law told me, so why don't you apply? You have done something really good, because I was a first rank holder in the university. So
Great.
that's when he told me, come out, do something for the society. That word really motivated me a lot. I applied, but I didn't even know that was my calling too. I really enjoyed my profession. So now, one important thing what I have learned in life is every step I'm learning a lot of things. And especially certain students, I have changed their life in a way they're asking the question why instead of what's next. So that should come now.
Yes, yes.
That is the
absolutely.
need of the hour, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely agree. In Gurukul, education is also about the life skills, discipline, and spirituality.
Hmm.
How can we bring that balance back today?
Okay. So, in the modern education, when you again take a look at the classroom atmosphere, they are learning all the concepts. It's not that they don't know anything, they know everything. So, they go to the classrooms to learn all the STEM subjects, they learn robotics, they learn mathematics, they learn literature, language, everything. And whatever comes later, let's say some schools where they say they are following a Gurukula system, morning prayers are only done, but are they employed? They need to make sure that is being employed. Okay,
So, what do you think we have lost in Saint education systems?
interdisciplinary mode. So when we talk about a student, they become the master of their own subject.
Mhm.
But apart from that, if you ask them to do something else, they cannot.
Okay.
So, in the current world, if you notice, many people are losing their jobs
Yeah.
because they are only into their particular field.
Mhm. They're
So,
masters.
100%, yeah. Not only the people around us, even the teachers and the leadership. So when we look at them, what happens is once they become comfortable in a particular role, they don't want to learn more. That learning has come to an end. That was never the case in any kind of Gurukula system. As I told before, when we talk about a guru, he should know what his students require. Based on that, he has to tailor everything. But of late, we have come to a system what teacher teaches, only that we learn and come. What I need to understand from that, we are failing to give that to our students.
So this type of things are always talk in the movies.
Correct.
Yeah. So always they come up in the movies also.
Yeah,
So
that's very true. That's very true. Because in the movies, what they show is something what is happening around
happening.
us. Yeah.
Somewhere the scripter must have, a scripter one who writes the stories and all. So he must have gained
Heard.
those knowledge from the Gurukul somewhere.
Hmm.
So I just feel like
No, that is very much required. So, if I see again, a soft skill is very important. But again, when we talk about the soft skill, I clearly remember during my childhood, I get really anxiety issues during exams. Even
oh,
now, if you put me into exam, I start shivering for sure.
no, I don't think so. You are you
No,
said you are on
but I
top
am learning.
topper.
I am learning at the same time. And topper is later. After I write the exam, only the result comes. But before the exam, I do have my
See,
issues. So my dad always told me one thing. See, I don't want you to go through so much of stress. Study and come. That's sufficient. Do what you know you that is sufficient. But I never wanted to settle something for less. I want something where I have to prove myself.
so somewhere your dad must have motivated you in such a way like today
Correct.
whatever you are you must
That is
yeah
100%. Without my parents and my husband's support, I'm not here today, to be honest.
yeah
But one good thing, what I really love the way how I was brought up, first is dad always told me, along with the studies is always there. If you do not go to a job, what are you going to do at home? So he
yeah
always encouraged me to take up this particular art, any form of art. We have 64 forms, they say, right? Kalas, we say, in the Vedic system. Like, I was very much fascinated with the drawing, sculpting, painting. So, every exam, I go to a new teacher, learn that form, and come back. After the exam, never I have gone home directly. He always took me to art class, then he used to drop me home. Same way, my grandma wanted me to be a good singer.
hmm
So I learned singing.
really
Yes, I'm a classical singer. And
nice
mom wanted to learn dance. She couldn't. So she told me, you learn behalf of me.
nice
So I
nice
have done for almost like 20 years. I have stepped in a lot of platforms. So such a kind of soft skills are very important. But yes, we are giving it to our kids. But if our kids are taking that in a mainstream, are we ready to tell them, okay, go ahead, you can be a good singer? Not many of them really entertain. They want them to be engineers, get a job, and then become a singer. I have no problem. So that kind of mindset, I feel like, it is still existing in particular present world.
so how can you balance a traditional wisdom with the modern skills in today's school
There shouldn't be something called as a core education or core subjects
Mhm.
and the extracurricular or co-curriculars we say. Everything should be mainstream. See, yoga class is a part of our academics, yes. And we do have shloka class as a part of our academics. But are we really making it a habit for the student to give the same importance? No, that shouldn't happen. We are bringing in the essence of Gurukula, but we are not giving it in the right way to our students. That has to be a part of the curriculum in a way where children respect it. That respect has to be coming from the teachers.
teachers absolutely
Meditation. Everybody say if you are stressed for your exam, count 1 to 10, breathe in, breathe out,
Uh-huh.
pranayama, all forms will come in. Why don't you do that from the day one with your students?
Yeah, this is absolute makes sense, right? You could
Yeah.
also why you're starting late.
Hmm.
That will also again put a pressure on the students.
True. Yeah. And there was no exam systems in the earlier days. So everything was, as I told you, Yudhishthira learnt all the values and principles. He was never a king in a Gurukula. He was its student. But was he given a test to become a king? They didn't
No.
have the test, right? So never Arjuna was given a bow and arrow and told her, like, you have to fight now. Only once you qualify, I will put you as a best archer in the world. Never. It was never done that way. It was based on whatever was taught to them, they digested it. Just the way how we breathe in and breathe out, that education and values became a part of their life. So that way, if we can put the values to our kids, add value of whatever you're teaching. See, when we are teaching from textbooks, nobody will enjoy. But
Yeah.
teach them what is required, because the same knowledge what is there in the textbook could be compared to a real world situation. Tell them if you
Yeah.
study
So basically,
this
like comparing or giving examples,
example,
so they
yes,
can visualize those things.
100%. See, when we are talking about, I'm a bio teacher, I was a bio teacher back then. So if I teach the heart, structure of heart and what it does, everybody knows about it. But imagine if I add a value to that. There was a situation in my house only. My dad, all of a sudden, he started getting, heavy sweating. His shoulder started hurting. He collapsed.
Oh.
We knew that because I was a science student. I knew that there was something wrong with his heart. I immediately we took the action and we took him to the hospital back then. Now, such a kind of knowledge, if you give that as an example, tell the kids, see, this was my situation because I knew this particular subject, this particular topic, I was able to save my dad. We're saving a life.
Yeah, saving the life.
Imagine the value you're adding to that particular subject. So that value is very, very important. That blend is there in the Gurukula. Please bring that values and principles over here. That's what we say. The wisdom of Veda is really high. If we can bring back that wisdom and make all the subjects uniform, do not call something as co-curriculars, extracurriculars. See, there itself you are classifying it, saying that this is something on a mild basis,
Yeah.
not for marks. So the
Yeah.
moment you say it's not for marks, everything will go for a sideline.
Side. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So everyone always talk, even as I said, like in movies.
Hmm.
But the one who make a books, create like subjects, all those things. So nobody talk, nobody think about this.
Correct.
At the time of discussion, though many things comes in a mind, discussion. But
That's true.
execution time,
Nothing.
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 Why do we think Gurukul education is produce leaders, sages, and warriors with such strong character?
So they are not studying for the need of a hour. They are not on the survival mode.
Yeah.
They have understood their true value. So even if you go and ask any leader we see now, so they have a vision in life. See, the way how an employee thinks and the way how a business owner or else a leader thinks, there's a lot of difference. The employee gets up in the morning, goes to the job, finishes his desk job or whatever job he has 24 bar 7. He's classified his timings. And, we are really good as human beings in classifying 8 hours of work, 8 hours of time pass, and 8 hours of sleep. Because science has told them that's really good. But at the same time, science also has told them a lot of other things which they don't want to follow. Science told not to eat junk food, but they will eat that. What is good for us, we will only take
Yeah.
that one. So that's a main difference, I would say. So if you want to be an employee and you don't have the vision in life, you can never be a leader.
Yes, absolutely. Vision.
Yes, vision.
Vision.
And I have a vision. I want to do this in life. You will give everything you have. In fact, I would say for that person, 24 hours clock is not sufficient because he is ready to work. And the morals and values and principles, the wisdom what they carry is very important. That is what is very much given in our Gurukula methods. They teach you what is your purpose. More than they teaching us, we learn as a part of our journey. Most importantly, we learn to blend well at a very younger age. So, how many kids have we seen, or else have I taught my own kids how to get up in the morning, early in the morning, without an alarm clock? No, there was no alarm clock in Gurukulas.
But still, they got up.
Yes, and how many of them really went to get the firewood in the present generation? They go for camping because we pay huge amount over there. That is fun for them. But in the Gurukula, it was all automated, and they knew what is like empathy, sympathy. So the person who can understand other human being, automatically he'll be a very good leader.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A person who can think what is there tomorrow, what he has to do tomorrow, and what he can achieve in his life in the next 1 month, he can be a good leader. But if you go and ask a normal person what is tomorrow, tomorrow is just a hope for me. Who knows if I'm not waking up tomorrow? So that mindset we are bringing in now. So that's why I say the wisdom what it carries is a total different essence. And it is a part of their breathing, every nerve, every impulse they generate, they are leaders.
Yes. What values from the Gurukul system can be integrated into modern schools?
So blend with the nature
Yeah.
and learn everything in a practical way. So, like whatever you're learning from the textbook, see where it is applicable. Very important that is. And most importantly, the educators whom we say. So they have a higher purpose, to be honest. Because if a child is coming to a school, spending all his quality 8 to 9 hours in the school, and after their 12th or education, what are they next? They are the citizens of the country.
Yeah.
And
True.
such a kind of citizen you are here, like, developing. How much of values the teachers, educators have to add in? You're not only here to teach from the textbook, you're here to add values also. Teach what is right, what fits the best once they step out of the school. Because the earlier education is what is very important. You're literally like, modeling a clay. So in the earlier stages, it's just the block. And once you give the nice dimensions, later you can design as you want. It just depends upon outer clothing, what you wear and go. But from grade 1 to grade 12, it's a very important and the crucial stages. So as educators, I feel we have to be the real gurus, how we were in Gurukul system. So give the best for the kids, mentor them, show them the right path, show them what is to be a real human, not only the textbook quality and quantity. So apart from that, impart more values into them because they might forget what is social. They have become scientists now, they don't want social anymore. But they will never forget that one teacher who taught them the life lessons.
Life. True. Very true. Do you think Guru Shishya bond, like teacher and student relationship, still exists in the modern educations?
I would go partially yes with this.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the previous one, when you asked me, I told the teacher has to be like this. I have seen a lot of teachers who really go beyond the textbooks. And there are some teachers who only do the job, how much is given to them, and they go home. So, yes, the bond exists, and how to strengthen them, and how to give, what to give, when to give, where to give, that is very important. So, the bond exists, and if it is used in the right way, we have leaders.
True. Absolutely. Uh, do you believe a modern blend of Gurukul plus digital learning can be a future of the educations?
I would strongly believe it. But apparently, again, so this is one of the personal experiences what I had gone through. In one of the principals' conclave when I had attended, everybody feared, most of them in the crowd, they feared AI.
Yeah.
AI is going to replace teachers.
Hmm.
So, my only question is, if that is the case, textbooks should have replaced teachers long back,
Mhm.
because our kids are qualified enough to learn, read, and understand.
See, I'm also from the IT background, so what I feel, AI, makes life easier,
Simple, correct.
but I don't think it can replace the
Replace,
teachers.
yes.
I really don't think this.
That's true.
Yeah.
See, we have encyclopedia, right?
Yeah, long back.
Yes, it is something like every knowledge is printed in the books.
Yeah, but it doesn't print up present knowledge
Correct.
and the future
Upgradation. That's what I feel. That was in the printed format. Now AI is becoming a upgraded format, and it's more dynamic. That was static back then.
Mhm.
So now it is like dynamic. Every second we have a new information which is coming up. So AI 100% will be a blessing to any sector for that matter.
Mhm.
But one drawback I would say, it doesn't add the same values, the principles and ethics or emotions what a teacher can add into a student's life.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a
It
total
will
different
just
thing.
make your life easier.
You can
Yeah,
use
it
it
will help,
as
yeah.
a AI as an assistant.
Yeah, of course, it is an assistant.
Yeah, AI can never
Now Gen
replace
AI
a
is come,
teacher.
yeah.
Correct.
Now Gen
Yeah.
AI is come.
Hmm.
For every company, they don't go for the one which is existing, the one which is already like ChatGPT. They
Correct.
don't go. They are creating their own
Own ones,
own
correct.
ones.
Tailor made. So
Yeah.
they want customized because
Customized.
it's easier for their job.
Yeah.